I guess we should start now. Unnat, you can present your screen. Can you confirm that I'm audible? Unnat?
Yeah, Devanshi, you're audible.
Okay. Okay. I guess we should start now. So, 1 second. Right. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Devyansh Sahu from Electrical Engineering Branch, batch of 2K20, and I welcome you all to today's session, which is Demystifying CP or competitive programming. So, allow me to introduce you all to our special guest today. He is Mr. Yash Daga. He's an upcoming SWE intern at Google, and he's also an international master at Code Forces and a six-star coder at CodeShare. So, Yash, on behalf of HNCC and BIT Sindri, I would like to welcome you to today's session.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Uh, okay. So yes, like majority of our audience is like the 2K21 batch, so they're all in their first year. So like let's start with the beginning. Now, what is the difference between like what exactly is competitive programming and why should like anyone get into it? Like how is it different from like normal DSA or let's say like normal solving questions for practice, and why should anyone do it?
So basically, the reason for which most people do it is that it helps in clearing the coding rounds of various companies, which are required if you want an intern or a placement. And for clearing the coding rounds, there are two ways. Either you can practice solely on DSA, or you can choose competitive programming. And I think that competitive programming way is a more fun way, because DSA, if you practice only DSA, let's say from Gigs for Gigs or Interview Bit, it kinds of it becomes boring, because there's no rating system, or there's no fun part in it. But in competitive programming, there's you get to compete with other people, and also there's a sense of community in it. So I feel, and competitive programming you can do regularly. And if you try to do DSA regularly for all your 2 years of college life, after 2-3 months, you will get fed up from it, I think.
And do you think there are any advantages in terms of like your accuracy to solving problems or like your problem solving skills in general? Like, does it
Yeah,
get affected or? Yeah.
yeah. In general, I feel that competitive programming helps in increasing your problem solving ability. That's the reason most companies have a DSA round. They also feel the same, that if someone is good in solving algorithmic questions, then he can also solve real world problems as well. And giving
And yes,
contest,
right.
yeah, and giving contest also increases your speed, which helps in clearing coding rounds.
And what do you like? Do you think it actually helps during interviews? Like during interviews, you have to like give uh, optimal solutions and you have to think very quickly. So do you think CP has any role to play in that
Yeah,
from
if
your
you have
experience?
a good problem solving, algorithmic problem solving, and you are good in DSA, it would definitely help in interviews. Like many companies, Google including, they only focus on DSA during the interviews and don't focus much on development and other stuff.
So yes, let's talk about you and how did you get into like CP and what was the your beginning point and when did you realize that you are like you really want to do it and you want to get good at it?
So basically, I first started when similarly in our college also seniors introduced us to it. and they took classes teaching algorithms and stuff. So from there on, I started. And during the first lockdown in 2020, I got a lot of time and didn't have much to do, as during online classes, the college studies don't put so much pressure on you. So I did a lot of computer programming in my second semester of first year, and since then it has just been a domino effect. Like since I enjoyed doing it, I did well in it, and since I did well, I enjoyed it.
And we can all see that it definitely resulted in a positive manner, and definitely helped you. So that was a very good decision on your part, you would say.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Now, for someone who is starting out with CP and for the first time, there are like many people make these prerequisites in their mind, and I would like to clear some of them with you, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so let's start with the first one. So is advanced DSA concepts necessary for starting out with CP?
No,
Do I
definitely.
need to know graphs or trees and to start out?
Definitely not. So I can say from personal experience, I learned graphs, stuff like graphs and DP after I reached 1600 rating on Code Forces. So till then, I can assure you that till 1600 rating, you don't require graphs and DP.
So what DSA knowledge do I need to have to start out with CP?
If you just want to start, you should know a programming language, preferably C++, I would suggest, and you should know how to take input, basic integers and array. And apart from it, you don't require much. You can start by from HackerRank, implementation section of HackerRank. And if you face any difficulty, let's say you aren't able to solve a problem, you can see the editorial or the discussion on that problem. And if you encounter some new stuff, you can learn it later. But initially, you just require to basic C++ and how to take input and how to uh, take input, basic arrays and stuff like that.
And how important would you say maths is, learning good having good concept in maths for
I would say
solving
that it
problems?
helps if you have a good mathematical and an understanding, but it can be acquired through practice. And if you practice a lot, I know a few people who uh, didn't have a strong maths background. Still, after practicing, they even reached red and stuff like that. So
Okay. So let's say there's a complete beginner and he's just started to solve problems and practice problems, and he gets to a point where he can know more he cannot come up with the logic of the problem. Like it's just beyond him at some point. So what is the best thing to do at that time, and how should one tackle that problem?
yeah, it happens with almost everyone. What I do personally, sometimes I just take a break. Let's say 1 or 2 days. If I am if I encounter that I am not able to solve most of the problems, to just freshen up, and after that I again start it. Or you can also do some easier problems to build up your confidence, so that while you are solving the hard problems, at least you have a much more confident level.
And if let's say you encounter a new concept and you're not aware that this new concept is used, so do you just straight up go and learn it and then use it for that problem, or you learn that concept, solve a couple of questions from it, and then you move on? What is the your
Most
way that Hmm.
Yeah, most of the times I learn the new concept. I usually prefer CP algorithm website for that. It has reliable implementations of every concept, and also Code Forces blogs and sometimes YouTube tutorials. Sometimes it also occurs that sometimes I encounter a new concept, but I feel it is too obscure and it would not be required anywhere else, so I skip it also.
like you mentioned, CP algorithms is actually a very good platform for algorithms. I use it myself.
Yeah,
It's
I would
really good.
recommend it 10 on 10. Like you can rely on those implementations like in your final code, and you don't need to worry whether there's an mistake in the implementation or in your logic. So that's why I prefer.
And there are also formal proofs available for a lot of algorithms that I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a lot. Okay, so let's talk about giving contests. So in CP, you are required to give a lot of contests, and like contests build up your confidence in solving problems, I would say. So like obviously, when you're giving a lot of contests, you are performing great in some of them and not so great in like the rest of them. So obviously, if you're not doing well in a contest or a couple of contests, it might bring your morale down, and it might make you feel like CP is not for you, and things like that. So or demotivation in general. So what is the best way, do you think, to deal with it, and how should one approach this, and what should they have in their mind?
Yeah, it also happens with most of the people. Like my rating also initially went from 1500 to 1100, something like that. But the thing is, even if you're not performing well in contest, you can judge from your problem solving that you have improved or not. Like, so there can be many reasons where why due to which people don't perform well in contest. Some people just are more nervous during contest and things like that. But if you are able to solve problems during solve tough problems by yourselves, then you can judge that you are improving. And for the contest performance, what you can do is you can give virtual contests so that you bring your nerves down. uh, like I gave a lot of virtual contests in my first and second year. Almost daily I gave one virtual contest, so that helped me improve my contest performance. Like I understood in a contest when to skip a problem and go to the next one and stuff like that.
So yes, like you said about virtual contests. So don't you think while you're giving virtual contests, obviously there's not much at stake there. So as your rating won't be affected by it. So don't you think like people might take it like, oh, my rating won't be affected. So like they might take it a little lightly than they would take an actual contest. What is your opinion on this?
Yeah, that happens, but the trick is just to uh, have that mindset that you have to give it as seriously as a real contest. And what I do is I before giving the virtual contest, I see the standings, see some of my friends on that standings, and I try to perform better. Like I know
That
the
is a good strategy to follow.
those friends gave the contest seriously, so I also want to give seriously and perform better than them.
Okay, so let's say you gave a standard code forces problem, code forces contest. You solved a few problems. So what is your what do you do after that? Like, do you like instantly just go and absolve the ones that you couldn't solve, and or you like just rest or chill and approach those problems later? How do you deal with it? Like, obviously,
That
absolving is really
yeah,
important.
yeah, absolving is definitely important. That mostly when I absolve depends on my mood. If I invest a lot of time in a problem and I'm not able to solve the problem, then I'm more curious and how to solve that. Sometimes I just call up my friend who has solved the problem, or I go to the comment section and try to look for the solution. And sometimes if I feel that if I haven't done tried enough for the problem, then I try it myself the next day for half an hour, 1 hour, whatever I feel like, and then I look at the tutorial.
My next question is regarding practicing problems. So, what do you think is the better approach to do it? Like, should we do more easy and medium problems, or like less number of hard problems? Like, let me rephrase my question. So, do you think we should solve easy problems of like larger quantities, or should we do harder problems of smaller quantities? What is the correct way to practice?
Like that depends mainly on your contest performance. Like if in the contest you feel like your speed isn't up to the mark and you aren't able to reach the hard problems even, then you should focus on your speed. And if you feel like your speed is good enough but you are getting stuck in hard problems, then you should practice hard problems. Like you should give 4 to 5 contests and then you can see for yourself in which part are you lacking. Like for me personally,
Uh,
giving virtual contest was a good option. Like till 1900 rating I gave a lot of virtual contests, and that helped me in in different contests. Some contests are like speed forces where you have to solve a lot of problems very fast, and so in some there are tough problems as well. So you get a mix of both if you do practice from virtual contests.
I like the term you used, speed forces. that you have to solve those questions really fast. So
Yeah.
now let's talk about, like, this is obviously a beginner oriented question. Now a lot of people just start out CP out of curiosity, and like later fall into the trap of like stars and ratings, and they get discouraged when the rating drops, and eventually this leads to them plagiarizing other solution, or like asking their friends during contests. And like, what is your take on this, and how would you say, like, how would you advise them to not get influenced by ratings and like just focus on improving themselves?
From my personal experience, I can speak that in all of the interviews which I gave, none of the interviewers ever asked me about my rating or even mentioned it after reading from my CV. So they definitely don't look at your rating once you get in an interview. And apart from that, I can tell from some of the people I know, once you start cheating, it is very tough to come back and then seriously start giving contest and once you know that there's an easier way out, so you won't come back and try your best to perform well. So it's better not to go on that path.
So, very briefly speaking, you were saying that obviously don't focus on ratings; they don't matter, and actually focus on solving problems.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, Yash, obviously, since we're all college students, and like, if you're giving, if you really like CP and you're giving a lot of time in CP, then obviously you have your other stuff to manage, like your entire college life is there, and both of them are equally important. Like, you want to give your time and be better at CP, and like you have your own college life to handle. So, how did you like oscillate between the two, and how did you like manage them?
Yeah, I was particularly afraid of this question because my personal GPA is not that great. So I am not sure if I'm the best person to answer. But still, I know of some people who perform well in both. They mostly study and uh, do CP in their spare time. But I feel that I was lucky because most of my college life, not lucky in the sense I missed the college life, but for CP perspective, I got a lot of time due to the online semesters. So the load wasn't that high.
I do agree with
We'll
you.
see.
Uh,
We'll see once the colleges reopen how much time I'll be able to give.
I'm sure you'll be able to devote a lot of time to your college now that you have achieved a great milestone.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see.
Right, Yash, like, do you have any last message for our audience? I guess I'm done with my questions now.
Um, Message, I would just say that the best, you need a bit of data. You definitely don't need a very high rating to crack companies. You can go for it if you are interested in ICPC and stuff like that. But if you are just interested in getting a good placement and a good intern, what I would suggest for them is that they just give the contest regularly and do whatever they are more inclined towards, and just giving the contest and looking at 1 or 2 questions over the period of 1 or 2 years till your third year, where you will get the intern. That will help a lot during that last phase. You would be much ahead of people who just start in the last 2 months. So just give the contest on code chef, code forces, etc., and you'd be much better off, I would suggest.
And Yash, how important would you say development is, like doing projects and like in getting involved in like development fields? Like, have you done any development yourself?
Yeah, during when my intern phase was coming in the last 3 to 4 months, I completely left CP since I was confident in that there also it helps that since I did CP in my first 1.5 years, so I could easily leave in the last 2 3 months because I was confident that I would clear the coding rounds, and I focused mainly on development. I did some of web development and made 2 3 projects on it. So it is definitely important. Some companies do look at it in a detailed way. So I would suggest if you're interested in development, you can do it in most of your college life and do CP side by side. And if you are interested in CP, you can do development in the last 4 to 5 months, which would be enough.
We're done with our questions. Now let's take some questions from the audience. Let's say about or they have to ask. So, like, guys, you can leave your queries in the chat box, and we'll pick the good ones and ask Yash. So, uh, is the chat open to all? Can you confirm? Okay, we have an interesting question here. Can I get into Google without CP and just with development?
Um, Without CP, you can definitely get, but you would still require some DSA knowledge to clear the coding rounds. Like even if you do just lead code and interview, but I think you can clear the coding rounds. And for
Uh,
development, I would say that Google, personally, from my experience, I don't think they even look much at your development profile. Like none of my projects were discussed in two of my Google interviews.
okay, we have another question related to solving problems. When should we look at the solution if the question is not striking, or they mean to say like you're not like it's not hitting you the solution? Like how long should you spend on a question?
Like different people think different amounts. I personally think that around 30 minutes or 1 hour if you can't think of any new logic. And apart from it, I would still suggest you give long challenges on CodeChef or any other platform, because in that you don't have an option to look at the editorial. So once a month or twice a month, whenever it happens, you will get an feel of how to give a question 5 to 6 hours, and the feeling after solving it, it's better than solving in any short contest.
We have questions on languages. So I think that I know what you're going to say. So like which language is best for CP?
Yeah, C plus plus.
Yeah.
If you have most of the people in first year have a clean slate, like they don't know anything. So for C plus plus is the best choice for them. And even if you know a different language like Java and Python, still I would suggest to switch to C plus plus. Like I knew Java because I was in ICSE in class 10th. Still I switched to C plus plus, and I think it was a good choice.
Although I think Java and Python are like you can do CP in Java. Many red coders code in Python. I have seen that, but
Yeah, you
uh,
can do, but it's easier to find other people's code in C++.
right,
Like most of the
exactly.
people code in C++.
Okay. How do you solve
Like currently, so what my thought process is that it's a diff to A problem or B problem, so it must be easy.
right?
Yeah, but
Wait,
it would not work for a beginner. I would suggest that they go through a normal thought process, like different ways to solve a problem, and try try whatever strikes their mind.
here's a question. I have just started CP, so should I start doing contests? So like let's say they have just started solving problems. So should they instantly just go to the next round on CodeChef or Code Forces and just give it, or just
Yeah,
see?
it depends on what mindset the person is. I would suggest you should take at least 10 to 15 days first and solve some basic problems from HackerRank or Spotch to build up some confidence. If you go to a contest directly, there's a good chance that you aren't able to solve any of the problems, and you just give up competitive programming.
That's a great answer. I think we had like enough of questions from the audience now. Uh, so guys, Yash should be leaving now. Thank you, Yash, for showing up. We really appreciate you, and we wish you all the best for all your future endeavors. Thanks
Yeah,
for joining us.
thank you.
Uh, okay, Praful, I guess we can now begin with our presentation. Oh yeah, there will be more
Yeah,
Q&A
Divas.
at the end of the session. So like, so yeah, we can
Yeah,
begin with our presentation.
yeah. Good afternoon to everyone. My name is Praful Seka. Is my camera on? Hello.
It's showing. It's on now.
Yeah. Good afternoon to everyone. My name is Praful Sekha and I am from the Information Technology branch of 2K20 batch. I will start with the famous quote which has been greatly said by the Steve Jobs, that everybody in this country should learn how to program a computer because it teaches you how to think. And competitive programming takes it a step further. It teaches you how you can program a computer in a smart way. So I think till now you all must be already known that what is the competitive programming by an interaction with yes, it was really a nice interaction. I want to make it clear that competitive programming is different from studying a topic or an algorithm and solving questions on that. In competitive programming, you will be giving contest, and in the contest only you will be given the problem statement, and you have to decide that which technique or what algorithm you are going to use. So yeah, yeah, competitive programming definitely enhances your problem solving ability. So solving questions helps you in understanding the pros and cons of different data structures and algorithms. You can say you will get the detailed knowledge of the data structures and algorithm by doing competitive programming. Many times you will be modifying the algorithms according to what is required in the problem. So it gives you basically a boost to your DSA knowledge. Uh, See one thing, that the duration of the contest is fixed. So you have, and you have to give the efficient approach in that limited amount of time only. You can say that competitive programming is all about time, how early you are able to solve the questions. If you are regularly participating in the contest, you will find that you are becoming faster in finding the approach to any problem. And if you have performed well well in some contest, then you can definitely add that in your resume. And most importantly, we all are here to get reputed company. So what do you think is the process of getting the opportunity to work in such companies? You have already seen an interview. So at first we have the coding round, and you have to qualify that. Then only you will be called for the technical interviews and further. And competitive programming greatly helps you in the clearing that coding round. And not only that, it helps you in the technical interviews. And there are many more benefits of doing competitive programming. If I will start telling all those, it's going to take the whole session. So how many of you how many of you are motivated to learn the competitive programming? You have watched this interaction with us. How many of you think that you are you will be doing competitive programming at least once in the 4 year in the college journey? You can write +1 in the chat. Yeah, yeah, many more. So now I think you all have the enough motivation to start. Yeah, you can down your hand. There are many people's who have been motivated to start the competitive programming. And the early you start, the better it would be. You all are in the first year, and it's very correct time to start. See, now I will be telling you how you can start your journey in the competitive programming. So next slide, please. So first of all, you have to select a programming language. And now I've got questions that which programming language should I choose. See one thing, that you can do competitive programming in any language. You can submit your code in C++, Java, or Python also. But every programming language has its own benefits. You can Java is used almost everywhere in backend, in mobile app development. Python is used in artificial intelligence and machine learnings and many more. In similar way, C++ is slightly preferred for CPU or other languages. If you have not learned any language and you want to go up in the competitive programming, you have made up your mind that you want to be good at competitive programming, then I will recommend you going for C++. But for the people who are already comfortable with the other language, for them going and learning C++ and then jumping back into CP doesn't make any sense. They can start CP in the language they are comfortable with. Now I will tell you why exactly C++ is preferred. So the main reason is that it is having a faster runtime. On the online judges, your solution is checked on the basis of time it is taking and the space it is requiring to run your program. Now, when we talk about C++, it is supposed to be the fastest among all the languages present. So it makes sense that writing code in C++. So after choosing a programming language, the second thing that comes is you make yourself comfortable in that language. I, I mean, learn its basics, its syntax, try some pattern printing problems in that, and yeah, maths. A basic understanding of maths is very important. You can started. You should have some basic knowledge of maths, like you should know about the number theory, factors, multiples, primes, LCM and HCF. For starting, this basic knowledge is enough, and most of you would have already studied this till 10 only. And after that, you have a command on the language. You have to learn the data structures. There are some basic data structures like array, linked list, stack, queue, and map, where these data structures are used, and how can you use this inbuilt data. These are the inbuilt data structures. So you have to learn that how can you use these data structures in your language, whatever language in which you are doing the coding, competitive programming. You will be using these data structures in almost every questions. So then after you have made yourself comfortable with the language, on the next slide please. uh, After that, when you have made yourself comfortable with the language, you have learned how can you use these data structures in the language, whatever you are in which you are solving your code. So in the yeah you can start the problem solving after that. In the question, you will be given the problem statement. So at first read the problem statement, and then try to think of its approach that could be used to solve this problem. And if you found the approach, you can code that in whatever language you are comfortable with. And if you are unable to find any approach, if you are not able to think that how could you deal with that problem, then there are various editorials present. So you can watch the editorials and try to learn from that, so that whenever next time you will face that problem, you will be definitely answering that, or the problems which will be similar to that, you can answer that. Yeah, and in this session only we will be also solving some questions today in this session. Before that, Divans will make you familiarize with what an algorithm is, how to decide which is better. So Divans, I think you can proceed further.
Thank you, Praful. So let's start with algorithms. I'll try to keep things as simple as possible and try to go into as less details as possible, and make you guys understand even if you have no background in programming. Now, what are algorithms? So you can imagine algorithms, they're just a set of instructions for doing anything, let's say for solving a problem or accomplishing any task. Those algorithms are as simple as that. So they can be as simple as printing the sum of two numbers and they can get as complex as finding the shortest path between two nodes of a graph. So all of them are algorithms and all of them have their own uses. Now, as far as CP is concerned, your algorithms are judged on three basic factors. The first one is, let's say you have been given a problem statement, so your solution should be able to produce the desired results for that problem. like you should be able to pass all the test cases set for the particular problem. The other one would be the time your problem takes. Like let's say there is a time limit set for the problem, and in producing the results, your algorithm takes more than that set amount of time. That would give you a time limit exceeded error, and like it would be counted as like you didn't solve. So time is very important then. The last factor is space. Like space is basically, you can understand it like the maximum amount of space that your algorithm uses, right, to solve, to produce the results, right? So there is also a upper limit on space. Like let's say it's 256 MB, so your algorithm cannot cross that 256 MB of space. If it takes even a single byte more than that, then it is a space complexity error, and it will give you memory limit exceeded error. So that is also counted as you didn't solve the problem. Now, problems for algorithms, they are judged on, we use asymptotic notations like big O or theta. You may have heard of them, but I will not go into those concepts, as it may be very confusing for some of you who are just starting out. So I will keep things as simple as possible. Unit, next slide, please. Right. So what we will do is I will tell you why different algorithms are needed for different purposes, and what is the uses of like learning better algorithms, and why should you spend your time over like mastering various algorithms and implementing them. We will take the short example of linear search and binary search. Some of you may have like studied it in your 12th, and you may not have studied it in your 12th. I'll go into the complete basics and try to make you guys understand like how what is the need of these two algorithms. Now let's say an example problem, right? On your screen you can see there is an array of elements. If you're not familiar with array, you don't have to worry, it's just a collection of a few elements. And like you can see, there are 8 elements. I have chosen 8. It's very specific, I know, but it's very simple to make you guys understand. You can like 8 can be, you can move 8 to 800 or 8000, it doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm taking 8 elements right now. You can see the elements, they are 2, 3, 8, 10, 14, 19, 21, and 50. Now we have been given this array or this list, and what we need to do is we need to check whether there is an element of value 50 present in this array. Now like obviously you may say like yes, I can see there is a 50 element number 50, it's at the last of the array, it is there. But no, that is not the point. Like imagine if this is just 8 elements, imagine if it were 8000 elements and or 8 million elements. Would you be able to just tell me by looking once? Don't think so. So we will solve this like program like we'll use two different approaches to solve this problem, and I will go into the details of each of them. Next slide, please. Right. So our first approach would be like let's say we start from the leftmost side of the array. We start at 2, and we make our way all the way to the rightmost side, so 250. So we check each and every element and see whether it is 50 or not. So we start at 2. As you can see, we have written that you could iteratively check. What iteratively means is that you can check over and over again each and every element. So let's say we start with 2. We check if 2 is 50 or not. So it is obviously not 50. So we move to 3. It is not 50. We move to 8. It is not 50. So all the way to till we reach last element, which is 50. And we see, yes, 50 is there. And we report that 50 has been found and it is present in the array. Now, there is a specific reason why I've chosen 50 here, because 50 is present at the last position of the array, and this is our worst case scenario. Like imagine if your like desired element is at the end. Like if it was at the beginning, like where is 2 is right now, like in one go you would have found 50 and you would said yes, 50 is there, and it would have taken like 1 unit of time for you to do it. Now let's assume that checking one element of this array takes 1 unit of time. So checking whether 2 is 50 or not takes 1 unit of time. Okay, this is our unit, like this is our scale right now. Okay, we will not go into big O or anything else. We will just take our unit, which takes 1 unit of time to check whether one element is 50 or not. I hope that's fine. Okay, now so we check 2 whether 2 is 50 or not. So 2 is obviously not 50. We make one comparison, that's 1 unit of time. We check whether 3 is 50 or not. We check again, so that's 2 units of time. We keep checking it until we find 50. So how many comparisons do we need to make? we need to make 8 comparisons, as you can see, as there are 8 elements. So like if checking one element takes 1 unit of time, checking 8 would take 8 units of time, obviously. And with this relation, I think you can understand that if there is an array of size n, then checking each and every element would obviously be proportional to the size of the array, which is n. In like generalizing it, if it is n, then it would take n operations or n units of time to do it, right? So like just keep in mind, for this particular array here, we checking whether 50 is present or not took 8 units of time with this approach called linear search. Okay, now next slide, please. Right, now imagine like you might have noticed this, but this array is in increasing order. Like can you guys see this? The first element is 2, next is 3, 8, 10. They are not consecutive, but they are all increasing. So any element from like second position to the last position, any element has an like less than element, like any element to the right left side of any element is smaller than it. You can say that for any of them. Like if you pick 50, then 21 is less than 50. If you pick 14, then 10 is less than 14. So this array has been sorted in a increasing fashion. Now we will make use of this and lower down our number of comparisons to save time. So what we will do is, let's devise an algorithm which what it does is it will go to the middle element. It will see whether that middle element is 50 or not, right? So it can be one of the two cases. So either it is greater than 50, either it is less than 50. Okay, now what is the middle element here? We can see that 8 by 4 is like total size is 8, so 8 by 4 is 2. Sorry, 8 by 2 is 4. So fourth element, let's pick the fourth element from here. So the fourth element would be 10, as you can see. 2 is the first element, 3 is the second element, 8 is the third element, and 10 is the fourth element. So our fourth element is 10. Now we made one comparison, that's 1 unit of time, so keep that in mind. Now is 10 50? Obviously not. So we know that 10, we know that all the elements coming before 10 will not definitely not be 50. Like 50 won't be present before 10, because we know this array is in increasing order. So we know this for sure, that 50, if 50 exists in this array, then it exists after 10, not before it. So in one move, we just cut this array in half. Can you guys see this? Like we now know that it won't be in the first 3 positions, and it's definitely not in the fourth position. We have checked it. So we can just eliminate half of this array in one move, right? Now, how many elements are left in the array now? 14, 19, 21, and 50. Okay, let's do this again. Let's go to the middle element again. So like we have only 4 elements left: 14, 19, 21, 50. The middle one will be 4 by 2 is 2. So the 19 is 19 equal to 50? No. So 19 will definitely be like ahead of, so 50 will definitely be ahead of 19. So we can again eliminate 2 elements. So 14 and 19 will be eliminated, and we will have 2 elements left, 21 and 50. Okay, that's another operation that is 2 units of time in total so far. Okay, now we have only 2 elements left, and in order to check whether one of them is 50, we'll take one operation. Like we can check if 21 is 50 or not, and the left one would be definitely 50. So how many operations did it take? It took us 3 operations to solve this, right? Now, how many operations did linear search take us? Like 8 operations. Okay, so like we definitely reduced the number of operations, but can we say that is very significant? Yes, we can. Maybe not for this example, but we definitely can say that it is. Okay, now we can say that the number of operations needed would be log of n. N is the size of the array. So the number of operations needed would be log of n. I'm not going into the formal proof yet. So just like I'm telling you the formula, just take it that it would be log of n. Okay. Now, can someone tell me that array size was 8, so log of n, and the base of the log would be 2, right? So if the like size of the array was 8, our answer came out to be 3. Can anyone tell me what would be our answer if the size of array was 10 to the power 9? Like you can check on your scientific calculators and tell me what would be the operations required with binary search. With linear search, first you can tell me how many operations would linear search have? Can anyone tell me? You can write it on the chat box. For 10 to the power 9 elements, how much time operations would linear search? Okay, I'm saying 10 into 9. Then that's 10 into 9, Vidhan. If you want to write 10 power 9, you should use a different. Okay. 10 power 9. Okay. So if the array is unsorted, obviously linear search will work. In our case, the array is sorted definitely. Okay. Now, yeah, right. So linear search takes 10 power 9 operations to check each and every elements. Now, what about binary search? I've given you the formula. It is log of n with base 2. So how many operations would that take? Can anyone tell me? You can calculate that. You just have to 27. I'm seeing 27. Okay. 3 for 10 to the power 9. I don't think so. 9 log 10 base 2. You can calculate that, I think. 30. Okay. Yeah, it will be somewhere from 27 to 30, right? Yes, that is the correct answer. So now, guys, can you compare this, like 30 operations and 10 to the power 9 operations? Do you see how significant this difference is now? Like over here, it was just 3 operations and 8 operations. And when we increased the input size, it varied from like 30 operations, which is not even 10 to the power 2, and varied all the way to 10 to the power 9. So obviously that's a very significant difference, right? Now, this is exactly what I'm trying to say, that we need better algorithms to solve things more efficiently. Now, imagine if this was a contest problem, okay? And you have been given this problem in a contest, and there is a time limit set on how many operations you can perform, right? Let's say you can perform at max 100 operations. You can't perform any more than that. So if you had used a linear search to do it, it would have taken 10 to the power 9 operations to do it, and it would have given you a TLE, or time limit exceeded error, and your like solution would have failed. Even if it had given you the correct result, but you exceeded the time limit, so your like solution would not pass, right? But if you had used binary search, obviously your solution would have been accepted, since you are doing it in less than 100 operations, right? So this is the need of having better algorithms and learning more efficient algorithms. Now, next slide. Now that we know that what is the need of learning more efficient algorithms and why should one learn it, let's talk about where to learn them from. Now, you might be wondering, like, how are we supposed to come up with these algorithms? Like, let's say you encounter a problem like this. So are you just supposed to like think of them like out of nowhere? No, you have resources, like proper resources available for learning different algorithms, and we have a few of them listed on your screen right now. So the first one is Geeks for Geeks. It's just an amazing website. You can like learn concepts and practice those concepts right on the website. Like this one website can literally help you complete your entire DSA. Okay, it has that much content on it, and it has good problems as well. You can practice those problems while learning those concepts. So it's a great website in general. Then we have CP algorithms. Our like guest Yash also said that CP algorithms is a great website for learning. So while binary search, I didn't give you the formal proof for it. I just said that it is log n. Now, obviously, let me give you an intuition. Like we are reducing the array size by like a factor of 2 to the power k, where k keeps on increasing, right? So like we halved it. We made the size n by 2, then we made it n by 4, then we made it n by 8. So like if you go into the formal proof, you will see how the complexity comes out to be log of n. And CP algorithms is just the perfect website for that. You can find formal proof for the various algorithms, any popular algorithm that's used in CP, and any not so popular algorithm as well. So you can definitely use this website to learn about different algorithms and their implementation, and it's just a good website for that. Then we have the YouTube channel of Abdul Bari. He's a great teacher, and he explains concepts from the very basic level, and I really like his teaching style. So he has an algorithms playlist on YouTube. You can check it out. It is a really like good playlist. So now we have the CodeChef YouTube channel. Now CodeChef has it posts techniques more related to CP, but it also has good videos on different techniques and concepts. So you can follow that. Then we have Coursera, which is more for like proper specialization courses, and for example, the algorithms by Stanford University and UC San Diego. So if you're into that, so sure, you can go and check it out. Then if you're more into reading books, then I would recommend you the CSA CP book or the competitive programmers handbook. Like you can find proper resources there to learn different concepts and apply them. Next slide, please. Right. Now you must be wondering, like, okay, so I learned a new algorithm. So do I just keep it in my mind, and like when the next question comes, I will just use it and without practicing it? No, that is not the way. What you have to do is you have to learn a particular algorithm, and you have to go on a online judge or an online platform to practice them. You should solve 2 or 3 problems to get accustomed with those algorithms, and so that you can use them in future contests with confidence, basically. So we have a few good online judges listed here. The first one is HackerRank. It's just great for practice. It has well-defined like sections for language proficiency and data structures and algorithms. You can practice your different skills there. It has a very easy interface, and like it's very easy to start with. Then we have Geeks for Geeks. I already talked about it. It is amazing platform. You can practice them while learning the concept. Then we have CodeShift. Now with CodeShift, we get more into the CP part. As in CodeShift, you can actually start giving contests here. Like you can start with diff3 contests, which have really like easy first and second problems. So I think anybody with a like basic implementation knowledge can solve those two. So then we have like CodeShift, and then at last we have Code Forces, which is my personal favorite. Like it's all around the best website for CP. It has a great archives section where you can find thousands of problems. It has problems arranged on the basis of rating. So like, let's say you want to solve problems of specific difficulty, so you can sort that. And like Praful will be showing you later how to do that. And it's just like great for giving contests, solving problems, practicing everything. So yeah, these are the practice platforms. Okay. Now, while we're on the topic of HackerRank, let's actually get a hands-on experience with how to solve problems on HackerRank. And I will be doing a normal problem, basic problem, and I will be showing you guys how you can start with HackerRank and solve your first problem, or like I will basically try to make you guys familiar with how it works, right? So I will be sharing my screen now, and Unnat, you can stop sharing for a while. Yes. Right. So let's go on HackerRank. Praful, can you confirm my screen is visible?
Yeah, your screen is visible. You can proceed.
Okay. So let's practice some easier algorithms. So we have skills available for practice. We have all these different sections. So we'll go on algorithms. Okay. This question that I thought was really interesting, and I would like to show this to you guys. It's like easier to discuss the approach here, and I can keep things as simple as possible. Now, how should you approach any problem? So like this is a standard problem. It could be a contest problem, but it is on HackerRank, so it is obviously not. But we have been given a problem, and we have a problem statement. This part is the problem statement. We have an example which basically shows you how what they mean by this statement. Like it is basically been explained with the example. Then we have the function description, and we have the print, like the print like they have given you the format for taking input, single line of 5 space separated integers. Then we have the output format, in what format you are supposed to give the output. We have the sample input, like let's say you are being given 5 numbers, 1 2 3 4 5, and we have the sample output and in what order you should print it. Now we have the explanations of why this is. So let's just understand this problem first. Okay, given 5 positive integers, find the minimum and maximum values that can be calculated by summing exactly 4 of the 5 integers. So what does that mean now? Then okay, so then print the respective minimum and maximum values as a single line of 2 space separated long integers. Cool. So let's say we have been given an array called with the values 1 3 5 7 9. Now this array is in increasing order, as you can see, but this could not be the case. It could be in any random order. Okay. So what you have to do is you have to calculate the sum of the 4 largest element and the sum of the 4 smallest elements. Do you guys understand? So like they're saying find the minimum and maximum values that can be calculated by summing exactly 4 of the 5 integers. Like you have to choose 4 integers out of 5 and you have to sum them, and then you have to print the maximum sum that you can get and the minimum sum that you can get. So in this array, what we can do is like to get the minimum one, we can exclude 9 from our sum. So as 9 is the greatest element, we exclude it from our sum and we print the rest of the sum, which is 16. This will be our minimum sum. And we for the maximum sum, we can exclude 1, which is the smallest element, and we can print the remaining sum, which is 24. So this is basically what we have to do. So if you guys don't understand the problem statement, please let me know in the chat. I'll actually like yeah, let me know if you guys can understand this problem or not. Should I explain this again? What if there were more than 5 elements? The problem specifically mentions that given 5 positive integers, so we are guaranteed that we won't be getting any more than 5 integers. We will sort the array. Okay. We'll discuss the approach later. Tell me whether you understand the problem or not. If you understand the problem, type a yes, and otherwise type a no if you don't. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, so I hope all of you can understand the problem. So let's talk about the approach now. So I'll tell you an approach. Obviously, you can come up with your own. I'll discuss other approaches as well. Let's say what we'll do is first we will calculate the entire sum of this array. We will sum all of these elements together. Now, since we have to exclude exactly one element from this array, we will sum all of these together. Then what we will do, we will calculate the maximum element of this array, subtract that from our sum. That would give me the minimum sum. And then I would find the minimum number from this array, subtract that from our total sum. That will give us the maximum sum. Like in this case, like for example, I will sum 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus 9. How much would that be? I think it would be 25, I think, right? So our total sum will be 25, and then I will subtract 9 from it, the greatest element, which would give me 16, and 16 is the minimum sum we can get. And for the maximum sum, I will subtract 1 from 25, right? And if I subtract 1 from 25, I will get 24. So that will be the maximum sum that I can get. Like, do you guys understand this approach? Let me know. Okay. Does anyone have any problem in this approach? Okay, fine. So I think the approach is clear now. So let me actually implement this now. In HackerRank, you are given a text editor here, and you can choose your language from this like drop down. And it's default C++ for me, so it can be different. So you can like change it to C++. And with C++, there are often doubts with what to use, like C++ 14 or C++ 7, or sorry, 17. Like it doesn't really matter. You can just start with any version. They're more or less the same. There's not very significant differences. Now, what we will do is like for normal C++ course, let's do hash include. If you're not like familiar with C++, it's completely fine. I will be explaining that. So we'll include the header file istream. Actually, let's not do this. Let's did I mess up the spelling? No, it's okay. Fine. So you might be wondering what this is, right? Why have I used this instead of iostream? So this header file actually contains all of the header files, like the more like you can say it contains the more popular header files in it. So you don't have to, like, let's say you use using vector. So If you don't include this, you have to include another header file hash include vector, and you have to like put it there. But if you use this header file, you can just like carry on with your code without worrying about what header files to use. This is very commonly used in CP, where you don't have to worry about the different header files that your functions or your data types may belong to. Now, we will use using namespace std. I will not get into the detail for this part, like what namespaces are. Like it's very specific to C++, so I won't get into that. Then we have the main function, which is common for all languages. There is a function which acts as the entry point. So this is our main function. Okay, and since our main function has a type end, so in C++ we will have to return 0 to like signal the end of the main function. Now it might work even if you don't. Now what we have to do is we will first see the input format. The input format is 5 integers. Okay, they can be any integers, right? So let's make an array. Okay, so we will make an integer array, int arr. The size will be 5, because we have been said that we won't be getting any more than 5 elements, so the size can be 5. Now let's make a variable called total sum and initialize it with 0. Okay, now what we will do is let's start a for loop. Now this is basically a loop. What this means is that it will start and take elements from, like, let's say we have given 5 elements, these 5 elements. So we will just looping over these 5 elements and taking them as input. So we use cin in C++, and we will do cin a at I. So at index I, we are taking the element, the first element at the index I, and I starts from 0 and goes all the way to 4. It won't, like, as soon as it reaches 5, the loop will end. Okay, so this is basic. I'm sorry, I'm using array. Okay. Now we've taken the input. Now in this same loop, what we will do is we will do the total sum, and we will do total sum assign total sum plus array at I. Okay, so why did I do this? I'm basically summing up all the elements as I take them as input. Right, I got 1 as input, right? So I will add this 1 to our total sum. Then we got 2 as input. Then I will keep adding my value to the total sum, and my total sum at the end will contain the sum of all these elements. Okay, now let's do initialize 2 variables called mn and mx. Okay, initialize both of them as the first element of the array. Okay, I keep forgetting I'm using ARR as the array name. Okay, good. So I have made 2 variables called mn and mx. Mx is mn. We will use mn for calculating the minimum value of this array, and we will use mx for calculating the maximum value of this array. Now let's run another for loop, which goes over this array in I equals 0 less than 5. What we'll do in this loop is, like, let's update our mn with the smallest value possible in the array. So let's say we'll check this condition. If the array of I, the current element that we are encountering, array of I, is less than mn, what mn currently holds, then what we will do is we will simply update mn with value of array of I. Okay, we will update it. For example, what I'm saying is, imagine we had 5 stored in mn. Okay, and we start iterating from 1. So 1 is obviously less than what already is stored in mn. 1 is less than 5. So what we do is like replace update mn with 1. So mn will now hold the smallest element. Okay, so basically we are maintaining the smallest element of the of the array in mn. Okay, similarly for mx, what we will do is, if array at I is greater than mx, we'll do mx is array at I. Okay, In the similar fashion, what we are doing is we are maintaining the largest element in mx. Okay, so mn will be holding my smallest element and mx will be holding my largest element. Till this part, do you guys have any doubt? Please let me know. Drop. Is the chat on? Yes, the chat is on. So you can write your doubts in the chat if you have any. Even if you have something that you don't understand in the in the code, I can make you understand it. So you can just let me know. Okay. Yes, we're quite short on time, so you guys have to hurry up. Okay, I'm not seeing any doubts here, so I'm gonna move on with my code. Okay, cool. So now in mn we have the smallest element of the array, and in mx we have the largest element of the array. Now what my algorithm was to calculate the total sum, and for my minimum sum I will subtract the maximum sum. I will subtract the minimum element from this total sum. So what I will do is I will print out total sum minus mx. Then we have to print a space. Then total sum minus mn. Okay. Why am I doing like this? We have been given the sample output here. So first we have to print the minimum sum. Then we have to print the maximum sum. So when we do total sum minus mx, that gives us the minimum sum, and when we do total sum minus mn, that gives us the maximum sum. Okay. So I guess this is good enough to pass the test cases. Let's see if we can. So I will run this code. Let's see what result we get. Okay. We passed all the test cases. Now let's try to submit this and see what happens. Oh, we failed a lot of test cases there, I can see. Now, this is a very good question for you all. Why do you think this test cases failed? Look at the code and tell me why do you think the test cases failed? I will tell you obviously, but let's see if you can answer. Is it okay to use same variable in both for loops? Yeah, it is. They are abstracted from each other, so you can use the same variable in both the loops. Guys, why did my solution fail? Can you tell me? 10 out of 15 test cases failed. Can anyone explain why? What did I do wrong here? I thought my algorithm was working perfectly. Let's see if anyone can.
I think we have the time till 4 p.m. only. So
Okay.
you can.
Okay, Nipun answered it's integer overflow. Okay, fine, cool. Right answer, Nipun. Time complexity. No, it's not time complexity, Sumit. I'll explain what happened. So, do you guys know what is the range of integer, normal integer in C++? It is 2 times 10 to the power 9. Okay, that is the range, maximum range of number any integer can hold in C++. Now, if you check the constraints here, the elements in the array can range up to 10 power 9. Okay, and we are told that we will be given 5 of them. So imagine a condition like this test case where all 5 of them are of 10 to the power 9 value. So in worst case, our sum variable over here, total sum, it might have to contain a number which is greater than 2 times 10 to the power 5, and we have made this as int. So this causes an integer overflow, as the total sum cannot hold more than 2 into 10 to the power 9, and the value that we are putting in it is actually more than it can hold. So it basically causes an overflow, and this is what is making our test cases fail. Okay. So to solve this, C++ allows you to use long, which actually enables you to hold integers till 10 to the power 18. So if I use long for all my variables, I think all of my test cases should pass. So let me try and submit it. First, let me try to run it. Okay, it's running correctly. Now let me try to submit it. And as you can see, I'm getting success on all the test cases, like all my test cases passed. So this was the basic like workflow on how you solve a particular problem. I hope I could make you guys understand. Um, since we're running short on time, I won't take a lot of time here. Like this was my submission in C++. Now, Praful, you can show them submission in Java, so to make them familiar. I will be stopping my share now. Okay.
Yeah, Divans, I will be sharing my screen. Wait for a while.
And you can let me know in the chat box if you had any doubts from that problem. I'll try to answer them.
Yeah, Divans, you can verify that. Is my screen visible?
Yes, Praful, it is visible.
Yeah. So I have asked this question from many of you from 2K21, and most of you were not able to answer that. So yesterday only I have made that question on the hacker rank. You can also give it a try. So we will be solving this question today. So first of all, we will read the problem statement that you are given a list of n minus 1 integers, and these integers are in the range of 1 to n. There are no duplicates in the list. One integer is missing in the list. Write a efficient code to find the missing integer. So basically what it is given that it is giving you the value of n, and it is giving you total n minus 1 numbers, and you have to find that which number is missing. You have to here is example is given that, let's say here example is given that n is equal to 17, and this is the array given to you as an input, and you have to find that which number is not present in the array. Like see, 1 is present, 2 is present, and 3 is also present, 4 is present. So which number is not present in the array, you have to find that. You have to give that in the output. So what could be the approach? Let me explain this. Yeah. See, so the very general approach that we all think that we have to find that all the numbers should be present, 1 2 3 4 and 5. So we can start that searching for 1 in the array. Our first element is 1, that should be present. If we started searching for 1, that we have found that the first element is the 1, then we know that the 1 is not going to be the answer. Then what can be the answer? We will be searching for the 2 next time. So we can search for the 2. So for searching we can use the linear search, like that. Is the 1 equal to 2? We will say no. Then we will proceed check it from the next element, that is 4 is equal to 2. So no. And after that we will measure if 2 equal to 2, it will give yes. Then we have seen that 2 is also present. Then we will search for 3, and we will check that if 1 is equal to 3, we will see that no, 1 is not equal to 3. We will check that for 4 2 and 5, and at the end we will not find 3. So what could be the answer? That we can say that 3 is our answer, because till from 1 to 5, 3 is not present in the array. So what do you think that we have to search for one? Let's example, we have an array given, and it is having to all total n elements, and we have to find that if one is present in that array or not. You have studied this linear search now. Devans has told you all. So we can use linear search definitely. Can anyone tell that if we can use that binary search here? They can write in the chat. Yeah, no. What is the reason? It's need to be sorted. Yeah, you are not given with the sorted. So if if you will call this like, if you have to search for one, you have to traverse the whole array. You have to traverse till n times, and for second searching two, we have to again traverse for n times. So for all the n elements, you have to traverse for n times. So you let's say your the size of array of your array is 10, then you have to traverse the array for total 100 times. You will be iterating through the loops for 100 times. So is it the best approach, or we can optimize that? See, algorithm is all about that. How can we give efficient approach? We have to solve that in the efficient manners. CP teaches us this that only.
Praful, sorry to interrupt, but I think we have to like wrap this up by 4. So, like, I
Yeah,
think
I will
we
do
should
this.
just discuss the approach and not the code for it.
Yeah. So the thing is that what you can do, that you are given all total n elements. You have the n elements, and we can find that we know that all the elements, that 1 2 3 till n, we can find the sum of all these n numbers at once. We have studied this formula in class, in our 11th class. That can anyone write that formula? If you have to find that 1 plus 2 plus 3 till n. Yeah, n into n plus 1 by 2. Yeah, correct. So what can we do, that we can find the sum of all numbers till n, and we can subtract the first number. We will subtract the first number from this, and here example is the sum of all numbers from 5 will be 1 plus 2 plus 3. We can calculate this by 5 into 5 plus 1, 6 by 2, which will be equal to 15. So we can subtract each number from that. We will subtract 1, our number will become 14. We will subtract 4, our number will become 10. We can subtract 2, then our number will become 8, and we can subtract 5 from that, then our number will be 3. So at the end, the number which is not present, we will get that. So so in this approach, what we have to do, if the size of our array is 10, we have to traverse only a single time. We in only iterating through by 10 times, we can find the answer. So this is what an algorithm is. So we can solve this. Devans, if is time left for
No, actually, Praful, we have to
job?
wrap this up as quickly as possible. So I think we don't have time to code it. We have to, in fact, get on with the Q&A now, since we are very close to
Yeah,
ending.
yeah. Yeah, I will
Like,
then you can share this link to this in the chat, so that everyone can try. I've told you the logic. You can write the code.
okay.
So yeah. So I will see. Let's say Divans have told you about the binary search. You can simply search for binary search.
Also, guys,
Binary
like
search
since we're on running
CFG.
short on time, you can like put your questions in the chat, and we'll try to answer it in the chat itself. So let's begin our Q&A session as well.
Yeah.
Sorry for this constraint in time, Professor.
Yeah, no problem. You can search that any topic, and after that you can write GX. You can open that the gigs for gigs. You can study from that. See, you can study from that about the topic, and after that you can solve this on hacker rank, or you can do that in code forces. Let's say code forces. It's quite a, yeah. Here in the problem set, you will be you can apply the tag. I think this is not visible. Yeah, you can apply the tag. That here various tags are present. If you studied the binary search, you can select the binary search and then apply. Then this will sort all the questions that are using the binary search, and you can sort this all according to the rating. See, by clicking on that, you can sort it according to the rating, and the rating starts from 800. So at first I will say that you solve the easier problems and then move to the harder problems, so you will be motivated toward the CP. So I think I have thought that I was solving one question on code forces, but the time is not allowing.
Yeah,
So Divans,
Praful,
you can continue.
yeah. So guys, I hope you really liked our presentation, and like you can definitely contact any of us um, for your doubts, and if you require any guidance for this field. And you can see like you can scan the QR code right now and contact us directly if you want. And we have like we can take a few questions. We have 2 minutes, and then we'll wrap up the session. So we can get straight into the questions. Where and when Python will go on? Python sessions will be held, Deepak. Please doubts regarding to this session only. Mm. Okay, I'm not seeing any doubts. So okay, best platform for beginners.
You can start practicing on the hacker rank, and after that you get familiar. You can start with CodeSafe and Code Forces. Code Forces, I feel the in the content, and for practicing you can use the hacker rank.
Right.
Where to get the link of the other sessions?
Do CP with Python, there is no such constraint on language. You can do it.
Yeah, I've seen many good programmers are
I'm stuck
using
on
Python.
1300 for a month. What to do, sir? So Pranay, do you mean 1300 level problems or 1300 rating? Like, I'm not sure what you mean. If you mean 1300 level problems, then you should keep doing them till you master that difficulty level, and then you should move on to 1400. If you're stuck on 1300 rating, so if you mean code chef, then sure, like keep giving contests, solving problems. It will be your rating will definitely increase. Okay, guys, I'm really sorry that, but we really cannot take any more questions since we're low on time. But if you have any more doubts, you can definitely contact us directly, and we'll help you out with whatever you need. So I hope you all enjoyed this session, and thank you for joining us. This has been a pleasure to be your host, and good afternoon.